Hi everyone, welcome back. In the last video, we have discussed about how to create the routes. We had some discussion over the request and the response. Let's see how we created up a route. Here is the route creation where we have created a get route with the get request. The endpoint is register and it is returning some HTML. Let's run our project also with the command php artisan serve, and here our server is running. So let's open this server. So right now it will not return us any output over here on the base URL because the base URL, the actual route which was by default given in the Laravel project is now changed. It is changed to /welcome, and now if I write a /welcome, it will give me the output of that Laravel default page. And the second route we created was a register, which actually is not a register page. It was just a test route to show some HTML part. Okay, so today in this video we are going to talk about views. If you check on this line number 17 here, it is returning a view, right? It is returning a method view and it is passing up a name inside that, a string welcome. Now what is a view? View is a template. View is a template which is returning the presentable format of the data to the client. For example, when you go to this welcome page, it's returning up the HTML content, right? A presentable content. It can be some data, like for example, list of the products, list of the users, or a user detail page or a product detail page, images, file download. So view can be anything which can be viewed by the client. So here it is returning as a view welcome. Now where can I find this welcome view? So you have to go to the resources folder. Whenever you are writing up or creating any views, you have to create them inside the resources folder and inside the views folder. So first you will go to the resources folder, and inside that you will find views, and inside the views you can see a welcome.blade.php. Now it is having an extension welcome.blade.php, right? Why not welcome.php? Because this view would be written inside the blade template, right? So view is actually a template where it will get the data and will replace the placeholders, the variables, the placeholders with those data, right? So let's look at this welcome.blade.php. This is the default view created when you have set up your Laravel project. So here if you see, it's like an HTML document only, but there are certain content which can be dynamic. For example, if you see, there is a if condition written over here, that if the route has login. We will discuss more about it later. Just a top level idea that, okay, this is like if the user is login or the route is login, then it will show us some menu options, etc. And if the route is registered, then it would be showing us the register link. So some more UI part is given, and why we are creating up the view, right? Why are we creating up the view? When I was trying to return some HTML from here, it was good. It was returning some HTML also. But think about that, if you have to create a complex like UI, a form, right? There is a big form which is containing up lots of fields. So if you are going to write everything inside your web.php, the web.php will look very messy. So we don't want to create a mess of code over here. Instead of returning HTML from this point, we will prefer generating up a view and returning it to the user, right? So now I will take away this HTML part. I am going to create a new view. Let's create a new view and we'll give it the name as register.blade.php. Okay. You can type your simple HTML right now. Don't bother about like what is Blade and how we are going to generate it. We'll have a complete session on the Blade. Right now we are keeping it very simple. Just people can understand, okay, I create a route, I create a view, and my page is being visible inside the browser. I want to create a form, I submit it, I can capture the data. So all those things we are going to look into. So right now we have the register.blade.php, and I'm going to simply type some HTML inside this. Very simple, right? I have created up some HTML, and I will write a heading. So I'll call register form. Okay, so let's create a quick form over here. I'm not focusing on the UI because we'll be talking about the functional part of our code, functional part of the Laravel. We are not talking about HTML, CSS stuff. So I'm going to create a form and I'll keep it simple. Email. Let's take an input, type equals to text, and name equals email. Right, so I'll close this, type and name. Okay, I need to create a button, so I'll take another input. I'll take its type as a submit. Perfect. If you want to give some value of the button, we can give that also. I'll give it the value as register button, keeping it very simple. Okay, so we have this form, right? Now, how can I show this register.blade.php inside my browser? Right, if you just go and write over here register.blade.php, this won't work, right? Whenever you are having some framework, remember frameworks will always work on the relative URL, not on the physical path. Right, because Laravel is written in the MVC pattern. So it has a model, it has a view, it has a controller, it has the routes. Routes would be mapping with the views. So you cannot access any of the file directly with the physical path, right? So don't consider that, okay, this will go into a specific folder, or if I am going to write resources/views, you may not be able to access this page. See, it will give you 404, right? So this won't work. This is not the correct way. Now, how can I see this page? Here comes your route. You want to expose this view. You want to expose this view through the routes. So I'm going to return this view from my register endpoint. So I'm going to say view and return register. Whenever you have to return the view, remember, only give the view name, right? Only give the view name. Don't give .blade.php. If you're writing .blade.php, it will be wrong. All you need to give is view, name of the view, right? Sometimes I see students getting confused that if I have a register view, then I have to give the resource name route here, endpoint as a register only. No, it is fine. You can write any endpoint. A meaningful endpoint would be good. So route get sign up, and it is returning the view register. Let's save this, and we are going to access this sign up over here. See, you're getting a register form. I'll zoom it a bit. Right, so we have a register form and email and then text field, and then register is appearing over here. Right, so you have created a view and you have returned that view to the client, right? How is client accessing that view? Through the endpoint route get sign up. Okay, now suppose I want to submit this form. I want to submit this form and it should go to the next page. It should go to the next page, right? So how are you going to manage it? If I want to submit this form, it should go to the next page. Right now that won't be the right concept, but I'm just going to give you the idea of the post method, right? So suppose if this form, I want to submit it as, let's say slash I'll give the name as register, right? Register slash register, and here we are going to write the method equals to post. Now remember, whenever you are writing up a post method over here, right, Laravel takes care of some security part also. So Laravel is saying that if you are submitting some data to my application, right, it wants to confirm that whether this form is actually the part of the Laravel only, right? It's like called as the cross origin issue. So here we are going to handle it, and we'll say let's generate some token. Sorry, CSRF, not course. I'm sorry, it's CSRF. So we cross site request for something. So here we are saying I'm going to add a token, so we don't have to take care of writing up a hidden form field, keeping up the token, taking care of the token. So all those work will be done by the Laravel itself. So I have created this form, and I'm saying that when this form is submitted, it will go to this endpoint register, which actually it is not here, right? We will create one, and the method should be post. But let's see what happens in my front end. I have made the changes in the form, refresh it. Let's check the source elements. We'll go to the body form. So it's showing it is fine. Register method is post, but let's see what is that CSRF doing. CSRF is creating up a hidden form field with the name, token, and then value. If you are not writing this input type, right? For example, let's run this register. See, it's calling this register endpoint. Okay, because that endpoint is not available, it's 404, no problem. But our form is created successfully. Now let's do one thing. I'm going to remove this CSRF. What will happen, right? What will happen if I'm removing this CSRF? Let's see. Refresh this form so that you get the new form, and you see there is no token now. Click on register. Okay, it is still showing some register. Fine. We'll see later. It will show the form expired kind of thing because we are not using up the conventional routes, right? We'll come back to this. Here it should show some expiry, that form is expired. I'm not going to accept this form. So Laravel is taking care of the security part. So let's add it back. Let's go as the standard process. Okay, so now here action is register, and I'm going to change this. I'm going to say let's write up a route colon post. Right. I'm keeping a different name so it should not create any confusion, and function. So here we want to, let's say, return some message, right? I'm going to return some message, return register successfully, right? Registered successfully. Though we have not registered, actually it is just a demo message that okay, registered successfully. So now what will happen? User comes on this endpoint, he sees the registration form. Once he sees the registration form, he fills the detail, submits it, it comes to this post request, right? So register. Now here it is a very important point that whenever you are writing up your forms, don't write the routes in this way, right? Because let's suppose if you want to make changes, let's say the client comes tomorrow and says that okay, this is not fine, register is not fine. He wants to do a create account. He wants to add a create account, right? So now you have to go back in all the part of your application and make the changes wherever it was register, right? But to avoid this thing, what you can do is you can create a named route. You can add a named route. So here I'll give the name of the route. I'll say post dot register. Okay, so I'm not thinking of a fancy name over here. What I'm doing is I'm picking up the method and I'm picking up the route endpoint name, right? So I'm forming a name, post dot register. So that's a trick I'm doing it, name post dot register. There are more like standard conventions. I'll discuss them later. So here name post dot register is good, fine. So now we will use this name, right? We'll use this name. We'll go back to the register.blade, and here we are going to write the blade template. We have started with the blade now. So inside my view, I'm going to use the blade template, right? Template engine blade. And inside this, I'll use a method, a route. We'll give it the name post register. Okay. So now this form, Laravel is going to check that what is the endpoint for this named route, right? It will pick up the endpoint and it will keep it as a URL over here, right? Let's save this, go back, refresh the page. It was sign up. So go to this part here, you see form action, and see it's keeping up the complete name, right? Complete endpoint. Now benefit of this is if I'm going and changing it over here, suppose I'm going to write it as register 2, right? Let's say I change the name as register 2. Am I going to change it in the register.blade? No, I'm not going to change the URL over here. The reason, because it is mapped with the name. Any changes over here will automatically reflect in your form. See, it is now register 2. We have not changed in the code. We have not changed it inside the form code. We have only changed it here in the route URL, right? But it is updated because you are mapping it with the form, with the route name. Okay. So let's go and remove this CSRF for a while, and method is equal to post. I'm trying to show you some like security part over here. Let's refresh the form and set some data register. Okay, this is the error I wanted to show you. 419 page expired. Why it is showing page expired? Because Laravel cannot recognize the form, right? Laravel is not able to recognize the form. Whenever you are submitting any data, right, whenever you are submitting any post request, Laravel will always take care that whether this form was generated from this application or not. And how it is taken care? By the CSRF, right? So it is adding a token to the form. Whenever you are adding the CSRF, see, refresh your form, it is a token is added. Now if you make any change in the token, if this token is manipulated, right, Laravel will make this like an expired form. It is not going to accept the request. It will throw an error of 419. But now if I'm going to write some data, because this form is having the token will be submitted, register, and you see now it is returning you the registered successfully message, right? So in this video we have created up a route, mapped it with the view. Inside the view we have created a form, submitted it, right? And then we have accepted the request in the form of post request and returned some message. Very simple. Create a view, map it with your get route, and then submit the form, right? Once you submit the form, accept that request on the another route, okay, and return some message. Now some of you would be thinking that this is very simple. How are we going to submit the data? How are we going to accept the data? Right, we will do all those things. We'll create a complete multi-user blog. We'll understand every aspect of the Laravel. We'll take care of the middleware, security, logging, mails, everything would be done, but it will take some time, right? So we'll be posting up this video, and all the previous videos are also being uploaded to this YouTube channel. So I would request all of you to view this and promote us. Thank you.